Going live now. Hello, fellow Whovians. Welcome to the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS, and I have a question for you. Is there a doctor in the house?
I'm a doctor, and the one you were expecting. This is Paul McGann, the 8th Doctor. This is the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS, the 100th episode. Good morning.
My name is Christian Basil. Years ago, I had an idea. I got myself a TARDIS. Took it to new places, met a lot of new people, took some great pictures, and talked Doctor Who. From Krypton Radio and the creators of the Hanging With web show, this is the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS. Join me on my latest adventures and become part of the legend. And good morning, fellow Whovians. Welcome to another edition of the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS. My name is Christian Basil. Let me introduce you to all my friends because we've got a lot to unpack, and we have a wonderful, wonderful guest today live here on the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS. Let me introduce the team. First of all, let me start off all the way at the far end with Melanie Dean. How you doing this morning, Melanie?
Quite well. Still in my bubble, still in my 10 by 10, and doing well. That's the best way I can put it. In my little bubble, in my little COVID bubble.
COVID bubble?
As we all live right now.
It needs to pop. We need to get out of the bubbles. Hopefully we will get out of this bubble soon. We have the lovely and the talented, the Right of Wands author, Mackenzie Floor. How are you doing this morning, Mackenzie?
I'm burning fumes today.
I know you had to get up just a wee bit earlier. So welcome aboard. Thanks for joining us there. Oh, yes, we are definitely going to get this party started. Thank you, Sadako24. Yes. And with us also is Erie, Florida himself, Mr. Mark Muncie. How you doing there, Mark?
Fantastic. Busy time of year for me, but
I know.
Fun. It's like I tell a lot of ghost stories and monster stories around town. But yeah, I'm glad to be here and excited to talk with Paul some.
I know. And what's interesting about Mark is I was talking to Mark and I was like, Mark, I plan to have all these Halloween episodes and having something wonderful going on out here. He goes, this is the busiest time of year for me. I was like, oh, okay. I guess so. I feel bad we haven't had you on, but I'm glad you were on for this episode there.
I was glad I was able to make it. You did a morning one, so I can do that.
Yeah, okay, well, and then we have Dave Chapman. Now, moving on. Good morning, Dave. Our wonderful wonderful guy over there, Dave Chapman at therathole.ca. Oh, if you're talking about game boarding, this is the man to talk about. How you doing there this morning, Dave? Oh, you probably want to turn on your microphone, Dave.
Sorry about that. Yes, it is. It is 5 a.m., and that's what kind of morning it is.
All the way from Canada. Canada,
eh? You hosers.
But you're not here for the five of us. You're here for this gentleman right here, the wonderful and talented, the 8th Doctor. You know him so well. I know him as that guy that fought the Three Musketeers in that Disney film. Mr. Paul McGann. Mr. Paul McGann, welcome aboard there. How you doing there? Welcome to the show.
It ain't so early for me. It's kind of lunchtime here. I'm doing well, thank you. Yeah. Sorry to get you all up so early.
No, this is an honor. I know the 5-hour difference is miserable.
I tell you, it's an honor to be on the 100th episode. Congratulations.
I know, thank you. Can you believe that 100 episodes? We never even thought we'd get to this point. And we've only been on for like 2 years.
Yeah.
We just celebrated our second year back, I would think at the beginning of October. when we premiered, we were actually, our first episode was actually talking about Jodie Whittaker, who was going to premiere the following day 2 years ago. So here we are right now, about 100 episodes later there. How is it going where you're at right now? I know it's a different creature where you're living at right there, especially in COVID world.
I don't know if it is a different creature. I think we're all similarly restricted, aren't we?
Yeah.
Obviously some more severe than others, but right here in England, we're entering the autumn, the fall. The days are getting shorter, and I'm sure as they are for you. So, people's heads are thinking about that now. The clocks go, is it forward or back? Spring forward, whatever
Fall
it is.
back.
Fall back on some. So they go
we still haven't figured it out yet. It kills us when we try to.
And so, we're just having to get our heads around that idea. That seems to have come around decently quickly. It's going to be dark at 4 or 5 a.m. here soon. So, and so that's going to impact, obviously, on people's mental health. This is real. So, but here in this house and here with my family, we're living well. We're lucky. We have space to move, gardens front and back. I'm only saying that because, people are living differently. Some people I know, I speak to friends who are living in the capital who perhaps are stuck in a couple of rooms often with people they don't even get on with. So it's so much depends on that. Just the means you have, the people you're with. I'm okay at the moment. I miss my friends though, and I miss the action, and I miss the glory. We were chatting before we came on air, weren't we, about the idea of getting on an airplane. This kind of feels almost illicit now. Imagine going to an airport now, jumping on an international flight and going and being in a 35,000 room or a conference center. I miss it. I do miss it. I miss the sociability of it. Who wouldn't? But it seems like another era. It's weird, isn't it?
It does. We're on year 5 of the COVID pandemic, as far as people are concerned. Or at least that's what the meme I keep on seeing.
Kind of believes you. I believe that. Because you lose track of time. Everybody's doing it in
that's true.
In small and big ways. You don't know. I don't know what day it is. I don't know what day it is. It's probably Thursday or Friday. I know that. I know it's towards the end of the week. So it's things like that. Things have shifted, and here we are. But we're living in this age, so we can do this. We can speak. So and we can see each other.
Exactly.
But it ain't the same, is it? It ain't the same. So and perhaps in the near future, when the virus is dissipated, is left, we can go back to some kind of normal. Perhaps things will be a mixture of doing this and meeting up in conference centers. But whatever. I think the world has turned, things have changed, haven't they?
Especially when we get back to conventions and we can see one another, and we have to socially distance, and then we have to go, well, can you come up to my table and visit me, and do I take a photo with you? And so we're gonna, it's all brand new, and we get to figure it all together. Thank the Lord.
But I think, Paul, the adaptation is going to be the interesting part, is because let's just say tomorrow we all wake up and they say we're all cured. You can all do what you were supposed to do. You can all go back to what you were doing. Everything's fine. I think we've been so embedded in the mentality of what goes on. It's going to be like, are you sure we're supposed to be doing this? Because we're such in the practice of what we're doing right now. Just like, should I give you a hug? I haven't seen you in months. And should I give you a hug now? And speaking of giving a hug, if for those of you just joining us, good morning and welcome. If you're on the live feed, also, if you are on the YouTube channel or the Facebook page, you're more than welcome to chat with any of us, including Paul McGann, our special guest today here at the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS. Make sure that you type in your comments, and if we like what we see, we're going to post it. Put your questions up there.
So we can see, we can see the comments, can't we?
Melanie has control of the comments, so she's the girl. She's our gatekeeper right now. So if you got a good question or comment, Sadaku 24. I predict it'll be with us for another year, maybe 2. Oh God, please. I hope not.
maybe it'll be there, but maybe not as severe, depending on where you're at, and that people are doing a little bit more precautions, and that we kind of we evolve along with it. So we kind of know in our minds, all right, mask up. Okay, put a mask on. Okay.
At the same time, though, there's still already events next summer that are being canceled.
Yeah.
The Quidditch World Cup that I was going to be driving 3,000 kilometers to Richmond, Virginia for has just been postponed until 2022 or 23. They will decide sometime in the new year, aka after the election. But yeah, basically there's enough countries involved that they don't know if anyone will be able to come or if anyone will want to come to that particular location. We can't cross the border even just a few hours south of us.
No.
The Canadian-U.S. border is still shut down.
It'd be interesting. We all be in Melanie's bubble.
No, my painting bubble. This is where I get to be happy.
We all have our own bubbles. We'll be like, there was somebody showed me a video of a concert hall. Everybody was in a bubble. I'm not kidding you. The singer was in a bubble. Everybody was in these plastic bubbles. And it was just, it's like one of those ball playgrounds where kids play in. And that was what was going on. I'm just like, are you kidding me? This is kind of the new normal.
It's funny that, at least here in Florida, because we don't have to worry about snow, Dave.
Yeah.
A little thing called drive-in. Drive-in movie theaters are coming back, where people are just, because we have the technology to set up a screen. You don't need to have the old school wooden boards and all that kind of stuff. But if you have an empty lot and you can have a projector and just, I don't know, one of those little inflatable screens, there's a lot of drive-in theaters popping back up again. So it's like this little tiny bit of nostalgia if you've grew up, if you're as old as me, grew up with those, and now you get to either re-experience it or you experience it again. So there's some certain little things that are, necessity is kind of the mother of invention. But in this case,
I like the sound of that. I like the sound of that.
But you've been appearing a lot on social medias now. How does that feel? At least it gives you the outlet, Paul, to interact with people you haven't talked to in a long time. Because I saw you on GalaxyCon and you were hosted by good morning, Billy Bonner Hoovian. You were hosted by my friend Patty Hawkins, who's actually a friend of mine down here in Florida. And I
always imagine everybody knows each other anyway. Everyone in North America knows each other. It's the same
thing every time I see a Doctor Who panel or one of these Doctor Who online together. It's just like, do they really know each other, or so this is the first time they're getting along? Getting along there. But what do you think about the future of online conventions and appearing at them? Because you've been there. You were at GalaxyCon. I saw you at there. Do you think that's something that you would consider going on to if for a while we have to continue to stay locked down?
Permesso.
That was an important call too. I bet.
Just get rid.
No, that's fine then.
Oh, he's disappeared.
Oh, you're alive.
He's back.
There he is.
I can guarantee you that won't have been my agent.
Oh,
with work. He says in a downbeat way.
It's
what we're saying. No, I think that. I think. Can you still see me? Can you still hear me?
Yeah. We can see you fine.
Hang on, I'm saying enter broadcast studio. There we are. How are we?
Iron twice.
There you go. You're fine.
There we go.
You're fine. Can you still hear us, Paul?
I can still hear you. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we can still see you. You're fine.
Okay, but I can't see you, so that's
probably for the best.
Let's just go with it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Just go with it. So you can't see me do this, right?
I can't see you doing it. I have a kind of generic window up now with a very plausible looking young man on it. Looks like he's trying to sell me something. Anyway.
That's not us. I don't think so.
Anyway, what we're talking about, the online conventions, I'm really glad of them. And who wouldn't be? They've and as I say, I think they'll certainly for the next year or two there'll be, and even when we're back traveling, I think they're here to stay. I think there's going to be, and there should be, perhaps a mixture of both. We'll certainly meet in real places, in real venues, in real rooms, but we'll also do this kind of thing. because the technology is here. You know, we're all getting sort of quite good at it, and it more than fills in the gap. It's really good. It's useful. I've really enjoyed it so far. I didn't think I would, and I'm glad, and I am. I like it. I don't like. There's something about the way it. Like even now, my face has disappeared off the screen. I'm a bit happier.
You're fine.
No, I like it. You know, who wants to? but I think everybody on these formats thinks the same thing. You know, you're the last person that you want to see when you're yakking, because you don't want to see yourself yakking, kind of thing. So you guys are pros. You've probably got used to it. I'm still not quite used to that yet.
Oh no, I'm not. I try to pretend I'm not even on here. I look at everybody else. That's probably people go like, you never look at the camera. And I said, yeah, I never look at the camera because I know exactly what it's showing. And
that's part of the problem is we all look at the face of the person we're talking to, and we're not looking at the camera, and so you're not really making eye contact anymore, which is so important.
Right.
So it's bizarre, really, but it's as good as it gets, isn't it? You know, we need to contact each other. We need to meet, and this is a hoot.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and like you say, here you are. You're doing your 100th show, and we can do this.
Yeah.
What an age we live in. We should be thankful.
And thinking,
I sound like a motivational speaker. Sorry,
that works for me. That you know what, Paul, you have that voice where I could just listen to you. In fact, you were narrating. Some kind of, I forgot. I was watching in the middle of the night. Unfortunately, I was exhausted, but I just remember. Oh, was that Paul McGann? It was a story about ghosts in the subway. I don't remember if you know what I'm talking about, right? I think it was recent.
Years ago.
Years. Okay.
The tube system in London. Is that right? And there were drivers.
Yes.
There were drivers telling, you know, otherwise unexcitable people, you know, just professional people.
Right.
Who, you know, 1, 2 in the morning would say that they would see things. Yeah, it was.
Mm-hmm.
I quite like those kind of things.
No, it took me 2 minutes to go. Is that Paul McGann? I'm like, okay. And I actually had to like look it up, and it was like because they didn't even. I don't even think they showed you as the host, and I was like, is it really him? And I was like, yes, it's him. Oh my god! And I was like, yep, you're one of those voices that I could listen to all day long.
Mike, but I've got 2 kids, and well, they're grown-up kids now. But they every couple of days they say, "Dad, you're on such a thing right now. You're on Reddit, this doing that, or you're on so and so selling this, or talking about owls or something." You know, there's always because you do this voice work, and it's always out there somewhere. It's
right
knocking around. It's nice though. I like it. It's good.
Well,
I tell you what, though, there's even I know for a fact that there's even there could be more than one, but there's certainly one fella, a performer who does an impression of me doing these things. It's a free market. He presumably does it for a fraction of the price or something. So all I'm saying is sometimes when you think it's me, it might be him.
That's scary. Speaking of scary, and we're selling stuff. We got a commercial break. When we return, we're going to continue our conversation with Mr. Paul McGann with our 100th episode of The Legend of the Traveling TARDIS. Thank you all so much for joining us. Please continue to stay logged on, tuned in, and become part of the legend.
Bateman.
What's the Bateman?
A novel set in Florida, written by Florida author D.L. Havlin. Suspense, mystery, and murder.
Evidence is in the bait.
The Bateman is available at local bookstores and online.
Author Cindy Kep is writing on the edge. Books include Remnant in the Stars, The Loudest Actions, Lines of Succession, Mindstorm, Condemned Courier, the Yerushalayim series, and Animal Eye. Find author Cindy Kep at CKOEPP.com today. Jackie Sonnenberg's My Soul to Keep is a ghost story rooted in the realities of actual cults.
I enjoy seeing you every night.
When 13-year-old Sky Monroe arrives at her new boarding school, all she can think about is death and connecting with the afterlife. Soon she discovers her school's spirituality group, the Guardians of Light, and they have a secret. They can speak with the dead, and the organization is a cult. But this isn't Sky's only problem. The campus house where Sky resides is haunted, and even the ghosts have an agenda. They intend on getting the souls they want. Filled with mystery and intrigue plucked straight from the headlines, author Jackie Sonnenberg's research and attention to detail give this ghost story an even more eerie atmosphere. Find My Soul to Keep on Amazon.com today.
And for those of you lucky enough to join us on the YouTube channel and the Facebook page live, you're watching us provided by Geek Insider. GeekInsider.com. Don't forget to subscribe to Meredith and all the wonderful people over there. GeekInsider.com. Subscribe now.
At Geek Insider, we foster relationships with those in the geek sphere so we can give our audience the insider view of entertainment, tech, and more.
And welcome back to the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS. My name is Christian Basil, and if you're looking at us on the YouTube channel or the Facebook page, Paul, well, you can't. Paul, you still can't see us, right? No,
I can hear you.
I wonder if a different browser would popped up and minimize this.
It's possible.
Maybe.
Yeah, that might be a possibility. We can fix that a little bit later. We're actually holding up all of our merchandise, Paul McGann related in some form of fashion for all to see. Melanie's got a mug with little cartoon etched characters with everybody War Doctor and your what I call it the Adventurer Doctor, the one from Night of the Doctor.
Oh yeah.
I don't know who to call it with there. Our friends Mark and Dave, they're holding up the Doctor Who books. They both have the same book. Which book is that, Dave? Mark?
That's the role playing game. This is it was still branded as Adventures in Time and Space, but this is the 8th Doctor source book from Cubicle 7. So it's an entire game book of Paul's adventures. Yeah, I showed this. We had when we had Yuji on. I've got his character page somewhere in here. I've got.
Oh, Dave, Mark just went up to you. His is signed by somebody.
It's signed by Paul.
It's signed by Paul. So,
Paul, have you been up to Alberta to one of our conventions yet?
No, I wish.
Soon.
Nope.
We've had others, so I'm sure you'll get out there.
And
no, that's one I really want to do. That's a place I really want to visit. Actually,
definitely come, please.
The Frozen North.
Mm-hmm.
And Mackenzie and I were holding up Big Finish audios. Mackenzie, tell us a little bit about your Big Finish audio that you got there.
Well, this one is from the Time War.
Mm.
Yeah.
We got the Time War CD, and I actually have one of my favorite stories of all the Big Finishes. One of a couple. It's like in my top 3 because Rob Sherman had written it for you. Scherzo.
That's one of the best ones we ever did, I think.
I love that one. What was it? The story was just basically you and India, your characters inside a universe that could not be explained. And I think you two did a fantastic job. And you basically took the writing of Rob Sherman and just... Oh, well, there we go. Ferdinand Montero says Scherzo is great. And Blue Bonnet Hoovian says that she just bought it not so long ago. I just got to warn you, if you're going to listen to Scherzo, it's actually one of those where you could listen to around Halloween, but make sure that the volume's a little bit lower, because it did frighten me on the road one day that they had some... no, literally, when I bought the CD, I actually listened to it after I bought it when driving around because I had to run some errands after the convention. And lo and behold, there are a couple scenes in there. The audio just kind of jacks up with a little bit of a jump scare. And I literally almost ran off the road. I was just like, oh my God, I wasn't expecting that.
Careful.
I know. So now I listen to Big Finish. I kind of turned the volume down out there. So you've been continuing the 8th Doctor's Adventures online. I'm sorry, not online, but in audio format in Big Finish there. What has been your most enjoyable experience with Big Finish?
Well, you mean across the years?
Yeah.
Recently.
And you got to work with your son, Jake, in a couple of the
Yeah, that was years back. And because that was a thrill.
Yeah.
And of course, and in the story, what was it? The Unearthly Child, wasn't it? in the story because we were related, or at least it wasn't either. I'm confused myself now, but he was the grandchild.
He's. Should I give the spoiler away on this? I mean, it's been out for so.
Yes.
Yeah.
No. What the funny part is, Paul. Paul. Here's the funniest part. I actually was doing a convention a while back, and I actually was talking about the last season of Doctor Who, which was the 26th year, and I started talking about survival. And a woman in the audience literally stopped me and go, "Stop! I'm watching this season." I'm like, "That was 20 some odd years ago." I'm like, "This is a spoiler for you," but okay. I kind of just skirted around how the episode ends, but I believe Jake plays your great grandson because he's the son of Susan. Susan has a child. Yeah. And I won't go into it too much, but you got to listen to the audios because once the Doctor finds out he has a great grandson, he's wondering if he's human or Time Lord.
And that's enough. You don't need to tell them.
No more. I'm not even going to go further than that.
That's enough. But one of the elements I like about that, even now talking about it and thinking about it, because it reminds me of the episodes I watched as a child on TV, and knowing that the Doctor had a family. There were relations, and they spoke of them, and I kind of like that. It's because it's not something that's emphasized much these days, but so it was a kind of throwback, and I like that. And of course, Jake was there in his first gig as an actor, and he was wonderful. He was wonderful, but just don't tell him I said so because he gets
mum's the word on that one.
A bit bashful, but no, I love that. But so that was a real highlight. I think as well, what you just said about spoiling stories that we made, say, 20 years ago.
Yeah,
it's possible because I noticed, particularly after the few years back when the 50th anniversary film went out, around that time, because it was around this time of year, wasn't it? October, November, and that's when there was a real boom, a real pickup, particularly in North America with the Big Finish audios. It was almost as if a collective penny dropped, and suddenly people really got into them. Of course, there's such a backlog that, as you've just described, there are people still. And I know when we meet, often fans go, "Well, given that there's 20 odd years of it, where do I start? Where would you start? Would you start in the middle? Would you go back to the beginning? Would you?" And some people they're trying to go from, 2001, 2002. And I mean, when you think I personally, we all do them. Personally, I've done 200 plus, so there's quite a few to choose from.
Technically, you're the longest running serving Doctor, even out doing Tom Baker now. Just for the audio.
Is that right?
On the audios, I think somebody had mentioned that you had done more stories than any other Doctor.
I'll take that.
Yeah, just how much content is out there. Now we have a question
content provider.
Yes.
Yeah, par excellence.
Well, we actually have a question from one of the audience from Sadako24. They ask, having done audio for this long, have you come to prefer it over to TV or film?
You mean in a Doctor Who style, or
say broad?
When you work as an actor, if you're a working actor, which itself is you're in the top 5% of your working actor. The ideal, obviously, and something that down the years I've kind of enjoyed in phases is that there are 3 or 4 things you can be doing. Obviously, I can do stage plays, do TV or pictures, or in the audios, radio plays. There's a strong tradition here of radio drama, as there used to be in the United States. So really, the answer is I've always kind of liked it to be able to go between them, to mix them up, to know that even say during the day, there's been times when during the day I've been able to do some audio work, and then in the evening walk on stage and do a play. That's fantastic, obviously. But in terms of preference, no, I don't think there is a preference. If you made me make a preference, and I could only do one of those things, I think it would still probably be stage work. Isn't that funny? Perhaps because it was what I was trained to do as a student, and it's the only thing I was ever trained to do. So, I still enjoy it, and even despite getting to a great age, it's still a hoot, and it's still a challenge. That said, I don't think I'll ever stop doing the audio work because it's and particularly where the Eighth Doctor is concerned. That's where he lives. He doesn't. Well, sure, it'd be wonderful if, at the behest of Jodie Whittaker, particularly, I was able to certainly be invited back and join in. That would be fantastic. I'd drop everything, but it'd be great to be back on screen. But when you think the Eighth, aggregately, I've been on screen as the Eighth Doctor for about 2 hours. That's it.
An hour
and a half. That's it.
A question,
but all of these, the Eighth Doctor really is it's an audio Doctor. Really, now it's just worked out that way.
Well, I know I speak for a lot of Whovian fans. Speaking for myself, I just think that there's a fan base out there that wants to see you in on live TV. I mean, people that I've talked to a lot, they want to see you do the Doctor on TV. I'm going to be honest. I think you were gypped, to be perfectly honest. And I want to see more Paul McGann. I mean, people were saying, you know what, while the series is running, the actual Doctor Who series, Jodie or Peter Capaldi and all that, everybody's going like, well, we'll bring in Paul as a seasonal so he can actually have his own track. And yeah, one of the things I think is funny, and let me show this picture. I know you've seen it before, but I don't know if you can see it now. But one of my favorite pictures of you is, and let me give it the backstory to everybody on this one. It's a picture of Paul, and this is a testament to how wonderful Paul is. Paul and Eric Roberts were at the same convention. I think it was MegaCon in it was Florida SuperCon in South Florida there, and they were about the same table. And at one point, they both didn't have anybody at their tables. I think you had just were about to begin a panel. You were closing up, and I just
you know what it probably was. David Bradley turned up. That's probably the reason none of us.
I don't even think he was there as of yet. There, but Paul. I asked Paul, and I said, "Could you fight over the traveling TARDIS with Eric?" And I just remember you were going, "Yes, we got to do that. And Eric was kind of, I don't know, I don't want to do that. And you got with Paul, you got with Eric, and you convinced him, and then that shot was taken. So that's one of my favorite all-time classic.
I can't see it, but I know that picture. I remember doing that picture. Eric's one of those people. Once you persuade him to do something, he just leaps in. He just does it. He's like one of my kids. He's a little bit cautious, but once he's in, he's a zealot. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And he's full
on. I like that. I kind of like that. Yeah.
Now that he's returned to Big Finish, we all hope that get a revisit, at some point. So,
but as what you were saying, a kind of desire to see the Eighth, to see me back on the telly, particularly. I'd love that. I would love that. It would be, and there's, of course, Doctor Who being Doctor Who, there's always, it remains a possibility. It might be a tiny possibility, but of course, it always remains a possibility, as long as we're still knocking around. And I would love it. Like I said, I would drop everything and just join in. So watch this space. But that's not with any wish to start a rumor, because that also happens a little bit too easily. Basically, the rule of thumb with Doctor Who is if you hear a rumor about something, it's almost definitely not true. That's just not the way that things are made, particularly Doctor Who is made.
Well, let me say this to the fan base.
Go on.
No, I was going to say, let me say to this fan base, Paul McGann is not returning on the TV series. Paul McGann will not show up with Jodie Whittaker. So if I'm going to start a rumor, let's start a rumor that quelches all that so that everything can take place out there. Oh, my goodness. But speaking of rumors, folks, we got a commercial break. When we return, we'll continue our discussion with Paul McGann What's that?
Segues.
Sorry, Paul. Me and Dave are just shaking our heads because Christian is the king of just absolutely obtuse segues.
Hey, if you're gonna have, like I said, if you're gonna have a rumor, run with it. There you go. That's the rumor I'm gonna go
Pick it up and run with it. Absolutely.
Gotcha. When we return, please continue.
Terrible at segues. Here's some commercials.
That's right. When we return, get off my lawn. When we return, please continue to stay logged on, tuned in, and continue to become part of the legend.
Deborah Parmley's Jenna's Christmas Wish.
Santa, if there's one thing I want for Christmas more than anything, it's someone to spend Christmas with. Someone who really wants me to be there.
Head to the mountains of East Tennessee with romance author Jenna Hart for a Christmas writer's workshop. Since her mother passed after a long illness, Jenna has had one wish. She doesn't want to spend Christmas alone. Meeting Niccolo Maldini, cover model and actor, could make more than Jenna's Christmas wish come true. Unless Ember, Niccolo's ex-girlfriend, does something crazy to stop them from being together. It's a mountain Christmas romance you won't want to miss in Deborah Parmley's Jenna's Christmas Wish. Now on Amazon.com.
Hi, I'm Claudia Christian with some exciting updates in the Sinclair Method world. First of all, we launched our new coaching page. It's yoursinclairmethod.com, so you can go there and book a session with one of our fabulous coaches. You can also reach that page by visiting c3foundation.org. It's at the top of the landing page of the website. The second piece of news is Journeys is out. Woohoo! This book has been a long time in the making, and it is available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, your local bookstore, and there's a limited amount of signed copies at c3foundation.org. So get your copy of Journeys now and visit the coaching page for some wonderful support. If you're on the Sinclair Method, you can book a session with a variety of different coaches. Take care and be well.
Alien invaders enslave Earth,
Unleashing hunters into the ruin wastes.
one young survivor struggles to elude their monsters, clinging to hope.
When he's stolen off the planet by a sarcastic starship AI, they pit their uneasy alliance against a treacherous galaxy.
Explore a whole new verse of barbarism and betrayal
Wonder and adventure
in the Scion series,
by Michael J. Allen.
beginning with Book 1, Scion Conquered Earth.
Available in print, ebook, and audio on Amazon.com.
Experience Samara's adventure as she imagines the people around her change into friendly cartoon animals right before her eyes. Journey with her in this poetic tale, My Cartoon Imagination at School.
And ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS. My name is Christian Basil. I'm here with our lovely panelists and our special guest, Paul McGann himself, the Eighth Doctor. Now, Paul can't. We're still having technical issues with Paul, but he can't see the picture I've just put up over here, which is the movie Withnail and I, which also co-stars Richard E. Grant and Richard Griffiths. Now, here's an interesting take on this particular picture about the three of them. All of them kind of have something to do with Doctor Who at one point or another. In fact, according to Doctor Who magazine, Richard E. Griffiths was actually poised to play the Eighth Doctor. Richard E. Grant makes an appearance in the actual series, but not as a Doctor. He actually goes into the audio. There was a cartoon version made of the Ninth Doctor at that time, which lasted about 5 seconds. In the cartoon, I guess you call it animated or cartoon for a series called The Screams of Shelka, but the real Eighth Doctor would be, of course, Paul McGann. And I've seen a lot of people talk about Withnail and I. So today, I'm not going to talk about that at all. Or if we decide to talk about it, that's more than welcome to. I want to talk about a movie that I just saw a while back and enjoyed implicitly. So if you want another chain of Doctor Who events over here, there is a movie called Hotel, where actually you will see the Eighth Doctor and the 12th Doctor, and they're probably one and only time so far appearance together. And not only that, but Graham, Bradley Walsh, is in it, and you can see him in the background if you're looking at us on the live feed there. Tell us a little bit about that movie, Paul, because I'm very interested
until you just mentioned it. I'd forgotten that Bradley Walsh was in it.
Yeah, he was. He was the bartender.
Yeah, in fact, I'd forgotten.
Not a very good one either.
I'd forgotten much about Hotel. I just remember. I remember doing it, and I remember being because Lee Majors was in it, wasn't he? Of course.
Yes.
I remember they put me in a hotel with Lee for about 4 or 5 weeks. It's funny when you remembering back doing jobs, you tend to remember where you were and where they put you and who you were. You tend to remember the evenings of anyway.
Right.
But I can remember spending weeks with him, and he was fantastic company. I never saw Hotel.
Really?
No. Well, you don't watch things you're in, but
that's true. That's very true.
And I think it's probably fair to say it had a mixed reception. I think when things are meant to be funny and they're not, it can be quite brutal. But it was great working with Capaldi, of course.
Right, exactly.
I think he's a genius. But I'd forgotten Bradley was in it. But there you go. I've worked with Bradley Walsh.
I know. It's just like there's a little Doctor Who camaraderie between those movies out there.
Also, you're not going to talk about Withnail, but I just want to say one little thing. And that's,
no, we can talk about it if you like. I was just kidding there.
Only you remind, because I'm looking at the book here. I've got the script just on the side here, because I want just 3 or 4 days ago in Parliament in London, in the House of Commons here, during some debate, somebody quoted it. Now, it's not the first time that's happened, but it happens once every few years. And somebody quoted it at the Prime Minister, likening him to one of the characters in it. And it made me get the script out and just check that he'd. Anyway, but there you go. So it's still Bruce's script. Bruce Robinson's script is still very much a part of the fabric of how we're living, and that is a comedy. Let me tell you. Remind me though, what was Richard Griffiths? Was he? Tell me again. Was he going to be?
He was according to a magazine. I think it was the Doctor Who magazine. I still have it somewhere stashed away. When they were talking about possibly replacing Sylvester, they were looking at Richard Griffiths, and in fact, I can't think of. Paul McGann is awesome. Thank you, Daniel. The companion, and I'm trying to remember her. Absolutely fabulous. Who plays the daughter? Anybody who wants to take a stab at it?
Nadia Sawalha.
Yes, she was poised to become the
Julia
companion. Julia Sawalha.
Julia Sawalha. Nadia's her sister, Julia Sawalha.
Right.
Yeah.
She was poised to become the companion, and Richard was poised to become the doctor. I kind
of like these alternative histories.
I know.
Those kind of the nearly things. What you could have won. I kind of like this.
Now we have a question.
But let me just say,
yeah.
On that score, at that time, we're talking. When did they first speak to me? So we're talking sort of 94, 95. That's of course when Ab Fab was at the height of its fame.
Yeah.
What did Richard? Of course, Richard had worked. Richard was a movie star. Richard Griffiths. Anyway, the point is that at the time, and certainly before I was approached, and Sylvester had been off the screen, Doctor Who had been off the screen for 4 or 5 years.
Right.
Rumors already were starting to grow and abound that it was going to come back. We were hearing it. Whatever. Eric Idle was in the frame. Who played Mr. Bean? Rowan Atkinson. He was, and each of these names, you thought, oh yeah, I can see that. Because it was kind of in keeping with the kind of mad savant or eccentric that we'd seen before. And so Griffiths would have been. I'd never heard that. Honestly, that is a surprise to me. Richard.
I promise you, I'll find the magazine.
Being how he was, Richard Griffiths would have nailed it. He would have been.
I don't see
fantastic.
it. I don't see you couldn't nail it.
He was amazing. I just want, again, perhaps the last word on Richard Griffiths and Withnail today, because we don't need to talk about that, but not too much anyway, unless you want to. But
it's your show, it's your episode. I was just joking because I know you talk about it.
You may or may not have ever known or had cause to realize, but when we made Withnail, given that Griffiths played, as well as being the senior actor on the set and playing the uncle, he was only 38.
What?
Wow.
What? Sorry, what?
Yeah, he was a 38-year-old actor. Think of who's 38 now. He's a 38-year-old performer. But that's what we're talking about. He was a young actor. At the time when we shot it, Richard Grant was 27. So there's only 10 years between them. And yet, all I'm saying is, yet you believe it. You believe he's some 50, 60-year-old. And during the movie, when they cut back with the Charlie Coons music to the 1930s, and you just buy it. You buy it because you don't question it. You know, in the same way that you wouldn't question Anne Bancroft and what's his name in The Graduate, Dustin Hoffman.
Oh, Dustin Hoffman, yeah.
He was 31. She was 36. There's only 5 years between them. You just buy it. Anyway, there we are. That's a little note to his genius.
Well,
long gone and much missed. That man.
I know. I hate to think this, but the movie that I think off the top of my head with Richard is The Naked Gun 2.5. So I feel bad.
That's what you went to?
I'm a Leslie Nielsen fan. I'm sorry. I am so sorry. I am a Leslie Nielsen fan. I will be
when we shot Withnail, Withnail was made for a company called Handmade Films, George Harrison's company. And the year before, they'd made a picture with Richard called and Michael Palin called A Private Function, and Griffiths had been in that, which is, according to Robinson, which made him a shoo-in for Withnail. Robinson called it the Pig film. Anyone that's not seen it, I don't want to give it away, but it's the Pig film. And Griffiths was brilliant. And of course Richard Grant, Ralph Brown, who played the drug dealer, me, who was the eye character. None of us had done a picture. You know, we were completely new. So having Richard on the set and around, though like I say, he was only a young actor himself. He'd done things, and he was able to sort of calm us down and reassure us and give us the thumbs up when things were okay. You know, we needed him. Anyway, big love to him wherever he is. Much missed.
Absolutely. We have a question for you from our audience there, Paul. Fernanda Monterio, she asked, was it harder to record during lockdown for the Time Lord Victorious event?
It's been and remains tricky. Because let me tell you, here in this house, one of my kids, one of the boys, has a facility upstairs because he's a musician, so he's got some gear. You know, he's a producer, so he can record. So just the fact that that's there, we can use it. Other friends of mine, cast members, Big Finish companions, while they might not have that, they might have, you know, this. They might have a laptop and stuff. So it's been a question of, you know, using what formats are available, the best available, modifying certain things, and essentially working at the speed, I suppose, of the slowest when we get to. But like next week, November 4th, we're gonna start some more Big Finish, and it will take us maybe it will be slower. It will take us more than a day to do an episode. Usually, we can do an episode in a day and a box set in a week. But there might be, you know, so there might be technical problems in somebody's house. It just depends where you were when the lockdown happened and what kind of gear you were caught with. Of course, as you know, companies can send you out mics and bits and bobs of kit to smooth it over. And I think by and large we've done okay. We've done well. So yeah, like I said, we start a new box set in a few weeks. So it goes on. We carry on.
Can you spoil what it is?
Long may it continue. What?
Can you spoil what's coming? What it is?
I could, bear with me, and I could tell you. I could tell you the title. I only just got it myself. Bear with me.
You know what? Actually, Paul, this is a great place to put a commercial, so we can keep people over the commercial. When we return, Paul is going to give us the title to that show, and we're going to wrap up our discussion with Paul McGann. We return. Please continue to stay logged on, tune in, and continue to become part of the legend.
Now on Amazon.com. iCoin from author Jeremy Mosby. It's an alternate reality, and the leader of the planet iCoin is none other than Benjamin Franklin. When corrupt officials threaten not only iCoin but the Earth as well, an unlikely chosen one, Jeremy, must face dark foes to save the Earth and iCoin alike. Author Jeremy Mosby takes readers on a superhero's adventure through this compelling and imaginative alternate universe. Get iCoin on Amazon.com today.
You have more options than ever before when choosing a film, a television or internet series, a book to curl up with, or even a radio show or podcast. Get to know the people who are creating for you. The Hangin' With Web Show, hosted by award-winning author and journalist G.W. Pomacher, is the internet's fastest-growing web talk show series. The Hangin' With Web Show features professional, yet casual, in-depth interviews with creative arts and entertainment pros. Meet the people behind a digital revolution in creating more quality content than ever before in the history of media. Find the Hangin' With Web Show on YouTube, Facebook, or Twitter, or simply go to www.hanginwithshow.com. That's www.hanginwithshow.com.
Meet the Doctor.
I'm the Doctor.
But not the one you were expecting.
All right, sexy. It's time to go home.
Doctor Who Velocity, streaming now.
And for those of you who be joining us this coming Tuesday live at 6 p.m., Phantasmagoria will be doing a special performance for the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS. That's right, that steampunk wonderful group. Phantasmagoria will be here live for a Halloween special at 6 p.m. live. So be sure to catch us here at the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS. But also, right after that at 7:30, I will be returning to Fan Expo online to do virtual Halloween Horror Nights 2. And here's more information about it.
Filter is a weapon.
This Halloween will be your last.
If anything you must understand, it is this. If I do not find a cure, my life is forfeit.
Myrta McGann, rise. It is your time to participate in the Rite of Wands, in which your soul shall face the ultimate analysis. Do you accede?
Yes. This can't be the way things end.
Heed my advice, young warlock. The future you saw is only a possibility. You will be given the ability to change it.
How?
I suggest you start by studying your father's potion books.
Lachlan the Shreya has come to Iverna. I must focus solely on my work. I am afraid. I do not want to fail.
And you can get a copy of The Rite of Wands by me, Mackenzie Floor, at all of the retail places, including theriteofwands.com.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS. Now, I really wanted to give this up for Paul, because you don't know how much Paul's meant to me in my life. First of all, Paul, I found this little trinket, and I bought this for my dad. Unfortunately, today, actually, as we're recording this yesterday, last year, my father passed away.
No.
And I found this little trinket before I wanted to give it to him to show. And it is the full series. Unfortunately, he never got a chance to see it. For Horatio Hornblower, the full series. And I got it for my dad. Now it's mine.
Was that his kind of thing? We're playing.
He loves historical. He would have loved listening to your stuff. He would love to do, and I'm sure he would have had a great time watching. He just never got around to it. His health started failing like last year, and then unfortunately he passed. Now I have
what was his name?
Dennis Francis Basil. Most wonderful man. Now I have a little trivia I wanted to tell. A little story about Paul, a testament to him. I don't know. Here's the traveling TARDIS, the real one, right here. There. Now, I'm saying this because the bottom fell out. There is a picture of it where the bottom had fallen out. I actually took it to SeaWorld, and there was a lovely woman who actually took it underneath in the what they call the pearl section, where there's a little glass where you can see them dive down with the traveling TARDIS. Once she pulled it up, the bottom fell out, literally, and it hasn't been able to be reattached. And then I came up with this quirky idea that I'm going to have the doctors take ownership somehow for the traveling TARDIS. So I had people sign the bottom. So the first time ever I get to see Paul McGann, I say, Paul, do me a favor. Please, when you get to sign the TARDIS, please do it very small. and not large enough so the other doctors can sign it. So, folks, I'm going to show you right here in the picture, and there's a little picture right there of it. And Paul signs like 1/4 of the thing, and I tell Paul, I was like, Paul,
Real
it was
estate.
What's that?
Real estate.
And I go, Paul, why did you? And before I can get even a word out, Paul goes, shh, my TARDIS. I was like, Paul,
sorry.
No, I'll be sorry. I was to laugh. I felt bad because I forgot to put lacquer on it, so the signature actually faded away. So I went back to you, and I was going to get another signature, and the attendant was going like, "Well, it's going to be." And she goes, "No, this is customer service." So we were kind enough to re-sign it. I said, "I'm sure I'm lacquering it this time there."
But how entitled! How entitled!
I know. Thank you.
There is. Oh, I was going to tell you incidentally, I was going to tell you the title of the next box set, and it's called "The End of the Beginning." That's a good title.
Yep.
Just when you think, it was making me think, because in one of the commercial breaks just now, there was a sort of spooky story title, "My Soul to Keep."
Oh, Jackie.
And I kind of thought, and I thought, just when you think all the titles have been used, they've all been taken, and somebody comes up with another clever one. I like that. The end of the beginning. What does that mean? Anything to you? If you hear that phrase, the end of the beginning, what does it make you think of?
Red Dwarf.
Okay, Red Dwarf.
Well, no, because the first episode, Red Dwarf, was called The End. So I thought that was an interesting homage to just that title alone, but that's just me.
I'm just hoping for some circular time kind of play out in the plot. That's when I hear end of the beginning.
The reason I ask is because in England, it usually makes people think of Winston Churchill. Now, the reason for that is, listen, we live in a little island where anything pithy, any phrase or adage, somehow is always attributed to Winston bleeding Churchill. But we know that, in fact, and again, coming back, this is now circular. But as soon as I've left you here, I've got to go up and carry on reading this audiobook about the war. Yeah. And we just got past the section of the North African tank battles and the Eighth Army and the Allies, including the United States, who are now in the war, win their first decisive battles against the Axis. Blah. Churchill says to the British people on a radio broadcast, he's while he's glad to announce the first victory of the whole war against the Axis powers, he says, "Don't think that it's the beginning of the end, but the end of the beginning." This is where it comes from.
Okay.
There you go, for you history buffs out there. So, like I say, we tend to get everything through a sort of Churchillian funnel here. I'm just saying.
Well, I want to wrap up because I just want to give you a little bit of a kudos because one of the first people I've ever interviewed, and I don't know if you remember way back to MegaCon Fan Days, and I have a confession to make from the staff of MegaCon Fan Days. They had me interview you on stage at MegaCon Fan Days. And I think Melanie, you were there as well.
Yep.
Which
I had birthday cake.
I remember that.
You remember that?
I remember though.
Well, let me tell the story to the fans there, because I'm also showing some pictures as well there.
I can't see them.
No, you're fine. I'm going to explain the pictures there, and I'll send you the video as soon as we get this, so you can see what we had there. But also, Paul, at that time when we did MegaCon Fan Days, he was at a convention, and I think a week beforehand was your birthday. And I said, we're going to make it special when we get down here. We want to give him a Florida special. So first of all, we got him a birthday cake with his own traveling TARDIS.
The Florida special.
The Florida special in there. Not only that,
that's either a wrestling hold, a meat pie.
Well, what I mean by Florida special is that the man who interviewed you for GalaxyCon, I had him go to Disney and help me get you mouse ears. And he got out there, and I said, well, the thing is, if I give you this gift, Paul, you have to wear it the whole time that you're doing the convention. So he did. For the whole panel, he was wearing the mouse ears. And
did I do that? I'm glad I did that.
Yes, and not only that, but
you see what a cheap date we are, folks. You see how this is what showbiz really. This is what it's like, really.
Exactly there. And at the end of the panel, you came up with this idea. You served the cake to the audience, which I thought was just terrific.
We had a good day, didn't we, that day?
Not only that, but you read the one of the things is somebody brought up their tablet, and you read Peter Capaldi's Zygon Inversion speech. I don't know if you remember that, but
I do remember that.
Everybody was recording. Everybody was just having a blast, and that seemed to be the trend at the time, where classic doctors, for a better term, were reading New Who doctors. And I was like, you know what? They should have New Who doctors read classic doctors. That would be actually something swell there. And plus, because Melanie had shown this up over there, I wanted to show what Melanie had done for you. And again, I'll send you this video. I'm sorry you can't see it there, but Melanie made you a picture as well.
Oh, it's one of my paintings, my doctor painting he's showing.
Thank you.
It was a war.
I wish I could see it.
You will. I'm going to send you this video as soon as everything's done there. I'll send you the link there.
I'm staring now. I'm now staring at a white screen.
Oh, that might be best.
Well,
it's a strange kind of dream. I know it's early for you guys, but maybe we're all still asleep. Maybe this is just a dream.
This is just a dream there.
Well, if it's a Mac, hit the Command key and Tab, and that'll help your Windows. Or is it a PC? The Command key, that's the one that almost looks like a hashtag. It's the swirly one.
Yeah, the Command key and what? What is it? Some combo of something. What is it?
Are you on a Mac or a PC?
I'm on a Mac.
Okay, the one next to the space bar. It looks. Hold that down and click on the Tab key, and it will toggle through the windows that you have active.
We're doing a live tech review on the Traveling TARDIS.
No, this is just saying Spotlight Search.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. Well, Paul, no, I promise you, I'll send you the video. You'll see all that stuff, and we always welcome you to come back if you want to promote anything Big Finish or any new movies that you may be coming out. By all means.
Even if I don't have anything to promote, let's just meet again. Let's do this again and let's talk. And let's catch up every few months if we can. I'd love that.
Okay.
There's always things to talk about. The Earth does a couple of worlds. There's always things to discuss. But in the meantime, my thanks to you, and particularly for letting me be the 100th guest.
It's our honor. It's our total honor.
Congratulations to you. Here's to 200 and 300.
And
I'd like Paul to plug is this weekend, and an opportunity for our audience to purchase time with him and to purchase autographs. So I believe you're doing another convention with Wizard World, I believe.
Wizard World, yeah. Yeah, that's on Sunday.
Yep.
It is on Sunday. So make sure you go to wizardworld.com, find Paul.
But what day is it now?
Today's Friday. It's Friday, love it.
It's Friday.
It's Friday, 1 o'clock your time.
Okay, thank you.
Gotcha.
But yes, this Sunday, if you're in the States or abroad, wherever, make sure you check out Wizard World. Paul and a bunch of other people from Doctor Who are going to be on there. They're going to do another live panel that I believe is free that you can watch. You might have to register for it. However, the part where I'm plugging the hell for Paul is you have the opportunity to chat with him one-on-one, and you have the opportunity for autographs and such as well for a small nominal fee. So please throw your money at Paul.
I like the sound of that.
Literally, right at the screen as you come up.
I'm in marketing. I'm going to plug.
No, that's fine. And I want to thank everybody who has liked us, unsubscribed to us on Facebook. Paul, do you know how many people have subscribed to us on Facebook? I'll give you the number. Take a wild guess.
That's me. Just tell him.
Tens of thousands.
Yeah, just about. We have now at this point, as we're recording, 39,346. We are we're climbing up to 40,000. So a lot of people are watching us. A lot of people are subscribing to us, and it's a testament for over the years. Dollar bills, says Blue.
39,000 of you people, go buy some
pound note.
Send them that picture there. Paul, any last words? We're going to go ahead and wrap it up. Fernando Montero says, Paul, thank you so much for being an awesome person. We love you and your work. Make our days better. So yes, Paul, come back at any time. You know how to get a hold of me.
I would love to come back.
Any final words for
no
our
last
audience?
words except, love to everybody. Stay safe.
Yes.
They're the only words that matter, Stay safe, look after each other. And, till we meet again properly, which I look forward to enormously. And, one day this will be over and we can hopefully laugh about most of these days. But I look forward to that immensely. But in the meantime, honestly, stay safe. One love. Mwah.
And to everybody, thank you for joining us. Please continue to stay logged on, tune in, and become part of the legend. Again, remember, Paul McGann this Sunday, if you're watching us live there at wizardworld.com, sign autographs, and also you get a video with him, which I actually got a video with him, and and I actually spoofed on him. I said, "Oh my God, I wanted the Sylvester McCoy one. Get this man off my screen." So everybody, thank you for joining us there. We are going to move over to the after party if you want to stay with us and chat. Paul, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great day.
Thank you, and stay logged on, tune in, become part of the legend. Now we are at the after party. Did Paul just put his hand over the camera?
There we
go.
Paul had to go.
Gotcha. And I apologize if anybody. I see a lot of chats, lots. We haven't had a chance to get to the chats. I am so sorry, but want to thank you for joining us there. I wish Paul could see us. He did something where he clicked on something. I heard it over the show.
I think what happened is when his phone rang, because I have a Mac, and sometimes the Mac will ping, and it depending on your defaults and whatever, it kind of show you, hey, you have a call, you have an email, and sometimes when that happens, it can throw the rest of the browser off. So I was kind of hoping that maybe the toggling thing might help, but unfortunately, it didn't. Next time we'll get this. If he comes back on the show, which he sounds like he's good with, we'll have it all sorted.
Blue Bonnet, if you're still listening or you're still out there, go ahead and send the link up into there because I'm going to post it for you. Blue Bonnet Whovian, if you want another take on another show another show who does a YouTube channel and does reviews of Doctor Who, Blue Bonnet. I was on her show once and it was an excellent ride. Just Blue and I just talking about Doctor Who and stuff and just enjoying it and the stuff that we liked, the stuff we didn't like, but mostly appreciation with fans. No matter what you believe, what you like, what you don't like, the fandom should respect everybody no matter what. I've been trying to be an advocate for people to watch Doctor Who, not to get them out of Doctor Who. Right. And I think that was the premise of the show. I've mentioned beforehand the two women who were in the back of the panel room and came up to me was kind of the premise of why I started this show, was that opinions matter no matter what. And as long as you're cool about it and you're not you're level-headed about it and you're being respectful about it, whether you like Jodie, whether you hate Jodie, whether you like Colin, whether you hate Colin, or you just like one book out of the Doctor Who series, nobody's going to judge you by your fandom. You are a fan if you call yourself a fan, if you like Doctor Who, no matter what you like in the parameters of it. But we want you to know that your opinion is welcome here, as long as you're respectful and you want to talk about it. And nobody judges you. Except for Mark. Mark judges you all the
time. But no, and you got to do that. I mean, and we get that in the my field, the paranormal field. It's, you get the same thing. It's the Bigfoot people don't like the UFO people. UFO people don't like the ghost people, and and the ghost people. But now they're all realizing, okay, we're all in this together. We've all got to mesh. And that's become a thing too. And it's just like the fandoms. It's funny because I had that experience with the Star Wars and Star Trek, and Battlestar Galactica, and Buck Rogers even, and it was all that. Everybody hated each other, and it's like
Babylon 5 people were coming in.
Yeah, everybody, and it's like, but now they're all getting together again, and it's like, see, it all comes around, and that's just it. We're all in this together. We all like nerdy things, so
We're not the video game people. No, just all the board games. None of these video games.
Yeah.
Mackenzie in video games.
Completely different. So.
Blue Bonnet, send me the link. I don't want to just give you the plug. Send me the link, girl, okay? So I can put it up there so people can actually copy and paste the link and watch it after our show, of course. But
and Mackenzie, I have to geek out. That trailer was amazing. I have never seen that, and it was incredible. So
thank you.
That
and
was
yes,
so
I get asked that all the time in case our viewers were wondering. No, that was not Matt Smith, but it was a Matt Smith impersonator who did that specifically for me because I wrote the character for Matt.
Fantastic.
I missed this. I didn't even get to this, but
I'm just throwing this up here for the virtual cons coming up. Yes, it's the Try the Wizard World one. I don't know if you plugged this before. We had talked about Wizard World, but yeah, Wizard World this weekend. Lots of Doctor Who people.
Lots of Doctor Who people, but especially Paul. And Sylvester.
Great autographs, and it's sad we can't do photos anymore with him because he does great photos.
He really does.
Oh yeah.
It was our Big Finish cover we were trying to do.
He did. This is one of many. This is the one that I picked because he's actually with the TARDIS smiling. There's a couple of them where he's signing it. And yeah, thanks, Paul. I don't have room. And Sylvester takes the other half up, and there's three doctors. Yeah, I was like, okay, I'll show you. That was just the one side. Here's the other side. I'm just like, I don't have any room anymore now.
Yeah.
That's David. That's Colin Baker. That's Peter Davison. I'm just like, oh, come on, guys. Really?
Okay.
So,
you don't leave any room for those new kids.
Yeah.
No room for the new kids.
Get Baker.
So,
get Baker.
Christian, Melanie, could you humor me? Could you put that picture of him giving out the cake again?
yeah, absolutely. Sure. There's
that one. Hi, Nisha.
Nisha in the corner. Nisha.
Nisha's in the photo and I'm in the photo.
Yep.
But I have a phone in front of my face.
Yeah.
But they're all ready for cake. That was what they're there for.
That was a fun moment. Yeah. Yeah. I didn't tell Paul about this. Well, I was going to mention it in Paul there, but let's just say the convention didn't know who to have interview him, and the people in the upper echelons came to me and going like, "Do you know Paul McGann?" I said, "Yes." Why? He goes, "Well, you're the Doctor Who aficionado here, and nobody really knows anything about him. So, can you host his panel?" I said, "F yeah." Let me think about this. So, yeah, that happened a long time ago. So, my goodness,
yeah, it was MegaCon fan days.
Fan days.
I remember those. That was crazy. That was then he did the MegaCon Tampa event when they were trying to split it into two for a little while, and that was where we saw him recently.
They split into two, and then they had like a minor show, which was like it's not as big as the other MegaCon.
Yeah.
So they were trying to expand out in the test. It didn't, unfortunately, just did not bold up well for MegaCon.
They did it like a week after Tampa Comic Con, which already is cemented. They were trying to steal Tampa Comic Con's business, and it was like, ooh, that's you can't do it 2 weeks after, and Tampa Comic Con has become almost as monstrous as MegaCon.
Yeah.
So
absolutely, and that Tampa MegaCon Tampa Bay. I mean, I know they tried doing it for a little bit, then it went away. Then they tried doing it again, and they did that for maybe only 3 of them because I know the first one was Tennant.
Yeah,
and that brought a lot of people because that was the first time he was really in Florida. So that drew everybody from Orlando. That drew people from Miami. So that kind of got a good little foothold. But then the one after that, you're right. It was right after Tampa Bay Comic Con, and yes, Tampa Bay Comic Con doesn't have the star power per se, but it's got the longevity. It's a very well balanced con, and it was before MegaCon Tampa Bay, so it kind of fizzled. It just wasn't. Why go to 2 cons?
It's such a weird weird time too, because we were guests at both, and it was so weird. They were billing us differently. One, we were YouTube, television guests, and our TV show hasn't even premiered yet because it got all delayed because of COVID. But then the other one was billing us as the authors, and it was like, okay, whichever, however, it all works.
So I just posted the link, and I'm sorry, Blue, I didn't even notice that YouTube, if you post a link, it could actually flag it and not post it at all. So she's on the YouTube channel. So I just posted on the Facebook channel. There it is. If you want to check out Blue Bonnet and subscribe to her and check it out, she's got some opinions. You want to hear them, and she's just fun overall. And we had a great time with the episode I did. I hope I come back. So Blue, I'm just telling you, hey, if you want me back, bring me back there. But gosh, yeah, Mark, how busy have you been? Because all of a sudden I started picking up. We're doing that. I don't know if you saw that video for Halloween Horror Nights 2, and somebody just said,
"Here, Michael Roddy on that." Michael, I was with Michael Roddy last weekend.
Oh,
an event just popped up where they had a couple cancels because of everything. They had a couple cancels. It was the 65th anniversary of the Revenge of the Creature from the Black Lagoon sequel, and they did a triple bill showing of all the creature stuff at St. Augustine at the old Corcoran Theater. And they had John Agar's son there. They had Riku Browning, who was the guy in the suit in the water, and then they had the Kilted Creature, who's for a spooky Empire people. He's a mainstay. He actually plays wicked bagpipes and theremin. And guitar, but I was more impressed by the bagpipes and theremin. And he plays swamp metal, so that was kind of fun. And so they did a show while their movies are going on, and then Michael Roddy was there doing a signing, and I'm in his new book, A Hunter's Tale 2, where they had all these guys who used to run haunted houses write stories. And so that was like, he's like, oh, that's coming out. It got delayed, but it's coming out like right before Halloween. I think it comes out Tuesday. But he's like, he had preview copies at this event, so we were able to actually get there and see it. But again, he called me at the last minute. He's like, hey, can you come do this? And I'm like, I happen to have the one night off this month. I get booked up in October, by August. Hey, can you come do this?
So now I got to book you to be on this show.
for October, yeah, I'm afraid so. Yeah, it's one of those. It's like, hey, when you said, oh, Paul's gonna be on in the morning, I'm like, thank you, I could do that.
I know everybody's going like, why do you do this? I'm just like, I don't think you understand the 5-hour difference, and I book based upon their availability. Not mine.
Yep.
I mean, I took off work for this, so you don't think it wasn't worth it? Yes, it was. It was totally worth it. Plus, just to let people know, if you're waking up over there, I'm also going to be on the what was the show? Brian K. Morse's. It's not Clever Title Pending. It's the other one. Never mind the Furthermore. Yeah, I'll be on that this morning. Plus, Melanie's going to think I'm crazy.
I already do.
I know. I'm going to be if you're in the Orlando area, I might be at a poll near you working the elections that morning.
Nice.
So yes, but you will see masks. You will see the sanitizer. It will be full on. But I wanted to wait. Well, I wanted to wait until the primaries were done just to see how people were affected, and apparently people that I knew that were working the polls have said they were fine. They did that. And I know it's probably going to be a little bit bigger, but I'm going to make sure that everything I do is completely sanitized. I'm going to make sure we take care of the people who are coming in the poll, because some of them I know. One of the things I love geeking out with is when people walk in and they're first time voters, and this is going to be, and they're walking up to me. This is the first time they're going to be casting a ballot, and I'm a part of that.
Yeah.
I don't know why that makes me so happy, but I love to geek out about that.
That's great.
I love encouraging people. Hey, and they come in and it's like, yeah, this is my first time. And you put the sticker on them, and they are just happy as peaches because they made a difference. The one little vote made a difference. And yes, believe it or not, in some places, in local places where they've had the runoffs, I've seen votes come up to be either 50-50, like this person was voted 300, this person was voted 300. Yes, one vote can make a difference.
And for those people who are voting early, make sure that once you do drop off your ballot and everything, that you do go back onto your particular election area to make sure that your vote was counted. Yep. Because if the signatures don't match what you have on your license, they might not accept it. So you might think, I voted, and maybe it wasn't accepted. So make sure you follow up on your vote.
I got
I can do that.
I know we don't talk politics, but vote Saxon.
Yes, exactly.
That's not political. That's not political at all. I would vote Saxon.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you haven't had a chance to get out the vote, make sure, because of the pandemic, things have changed. Make sure, and I vote absentee. It's required by people who are working the polls. They actually send the ballot home. You have to sign and everything. Put it in the envelope. Put it in the mail. And also, you can go on the website and check if it was casted.
Mm-hmm.
And if anything goes wrong, then I can either order another one or I can go out and early vote. So I know that my vote counted
Yes.
in the election, and that's the important part. Every vote counts.
And you can share it on Facebook.
But we are a Doctor Who show, so I'm sorry I went off track a little bit there.
It's all good.
Vote Paul McGann.
Vote
Paul McGann.
Paul McGann.
Paul McGann. He'll wear your ears.
That was amazing.
That was an amazing day. I will. That's a day I will cherish as far as conventions are concerned. I'm glad Fan Expo kind of just nudged me and goes, "Okay, you want to interview him because we don't know anything about this guy." I'm like,
Yes,
"Sure,
please.
yes, please."
I'm literally looking for photos of that day. I'll share them.
Oh, please do.
Yeah.
The one that we didn't get to and mention there is there we go.
Yes.
Yeah. Wow.
Said you worked on a Disney film.
Finally a ginger.
Finally a ginger. The wrong movie. And he's got the long hair too. So.
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Mackenzie, which you were in the middle of the Time War audios. Which one are you on right now?
This is the first box set.
Okay. There's a ginger line. I'm not going to say where in the second set, and it is one of the best. I stopped, rewound. Did I just hear that? It is one of the best moments in all of Big Finish. I swear to God.
Oh,
that definitely is up there. It is definitely.
I can't wait to hear
it. Mark even knows exactly what I'm
I
talking
know
about.
exactly what you're talking about. I remember almost wrecking my car. I was laughing so hard.
Yep, I am loving the Time War series. I'm yeah.
Oh, and there's my alarm that I have to go because I have to be on Drinking with Authors.
No problem.
In about an hour. So
Mark and I just remind people, please drive safely when big finishing in your car.
Yep. And if you're listening to Drinking with Authors, make sure you do that at home. So
there you go.
We got to get you on it, Mackenzie.
Mark, well, before you go, just tell us the link or where people can find you. So when we end our show,
at EerieFlorida.com is where you get links to all my stuff. But Drinking with Authors is on every podcast platform ever, just like this show. I co-host occasionally when they have horror and science fiction authors and they don't know them, so they need an expert. And that's, I get Fan Expo brought in, and we're interviewing Al Going Back for Halloween, the great Al Going Back, Bram Stoker Lifetime Award winner, and who just won Best Novel again this year for it. So very cool. And then tomorrow I'll be at Ghost Fest in Brooksville, our first appearance in ages besides the museum we did last night. And the other thing is Tampa Theater tonight. I'll be at the Tampa Theater tonight for the Storytellers of Tampa Bay event. And that I'm kind of cheating because I pre-recorded it. So
I'm cheating.
So
that's what you don't tell people. You just let it happen and then see if anybody
that's just different. I don't know.
They'll be like, "Hey, where's that guy? He was on stage, but I don't see him." No, he was up on the big screen. But that's kind of cool to have your stuff playing on the big screen at Tampa Theater is always nice. But yeah, Ghost Fest at the Mace Stringer House in Brooksville. It's free for the family. Come on out. There's going to be food vendors. There's going to mini donuts. I'm there, and then there's a lot of paranormal groups and some other stuff going to be there. And it's one of the most haunted houses in Florida. So, and they've got and they actually have a haunted house outside for kids to go through and all that. So it should be fun. And I will see you all very soon after Halloween, and it all gets blown over. And but if you EerieFlorida.com, you'll see me when I'm on all the other radio shows and TV shows that I do right now, which is great. I love you all. I miss Doctor Who. We'll be back.
I know. Well, we will be continuing because we have some wonderful stuff coming up down the pipe, especially Phantasmagoria.
I'm so excited.
In fact, John was sending me a text that says we want to talk about it this morning. I'm like, I'm recording Paul McGann, but after that, just like, did I just say that?
They did the train in Tavares to Eustis that does the coastal
I heard that.
railway. They did a show based on Erie, Florida stories, and it was incredible. And they're just amazing. I can't wait to see what they do for Doctor Who.
I said, John, do you need a whole show? Do we have to remove the commercials? What do you want us to do? And he goes, do whatever you want. I go, it's Doctor Who based and it's a podcast. So are you able to do like audio things? Because I know most of their stuff is illuminating. I mean, they do dances and stuff like that. And it's just like, but I said, I don't want our podcasters listening to music for 5 minutes. So he goes, no, we got this taken care of and it will be Doctor Who themed. I'm like, okay, I'll let you. We'll know more about it on Tuesday. But
Don and Dion are both Whovians, so I think it'll be it'll be wonderful.
I'm sure they got something.
I'll be tuning in. I'll be on another show at that time, but I'll be tuning into that in between the breaks.
Yeah, I can't wait. I'm just like, everybody take a break this week because it's just going to be Phantasmagoria that day. I'm like,
awesome.
Is it sunny there, Mackenzie? Is it already daytime there?
Starting here, which is why I have to run. Bye, gang.
Gotcha.
Love you all.
See ya.
Bye, fans. And we'll see you soon.
Okay, no matter whatever happens, I interviewed Paul McGann for our show. I'm done.
Yep.
We can end the show. We are done.
Yeah.
Oh my god! I don't know what happened, Mackenzie, but I guess there was some kind of delay or something. But it looked like you were running through the house, and then all of a sudden your face appeared up in the bed. It was just like it was like Benny Hill music was playing in the background. And just, boom. Here I am.
Probably because I was running up the stairs trying to get to my bedroom where my computer cord is because I was at like 4%, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna die.
Like, no, I need.
Oh, what are you doing, Dave?
I'm going to be annoying.
Y'all have
Too late.
Not cool.
Oh, really?
This
is what? Wait a minute. Why is?
Because I'm going to mute his mic.
I got two.
I can't mute his mic. Oh, okay. The mic is. I got to mute his mic over at the his thingy. So there.
Yeah.
Now we can't hear him. So, okay, now he's frozen. Okay, well, I guess that's fine there. So.
Ah, damn! I can't drag and drop these. I would have to share my screen to show you all my Paul McGann photos and stuff like that.
Oh,
do you want me to share it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Got a few minutes. I'm gonna watch this when I get a chance for my dad.
Okay.
That's the problem. I say I'm gonna watch this, and I'm just like, look how many DVDs you had to get through. I'm like, are they all 10 minutes? Just like a Netflix show because I can get through it. But Paul's.
I turned off the Wi-Fi. That was the problem. As I walked too far away from my Wi-Fi, my phone is connected. But yes, if you can still see me, yeah, it's all nope.
You froze too. Actually,
frozen.
Yeah.
I don't know why that is, but I literally turned it off to do that.
Yeah.
Here's his cake. I'm trying to move monitors or screens around so I can see what I'm showing you guys. Sorry.
No, you're fine.
There we go. So there's Paul's cake.
Uh-huh.
Go back. Yeah, there's just so many. There's this guy over here. Standing next to Paul. Not sure who this guy is.
He's disturbing. Fernanda, I see your post. I mean to cut you off. Fernanda, I see your post. Thank you. She says, thank you so much for the broadcast. I'm happy to get to know the channel. Can't wait to see more videos. Yeah, you can check us out on Facebook.com, the Traveling TARDIS. We've got all the videos up there, and we've got a plethora of guest alumni, including Sylvester McCoy, Katie Manning, Tim Treloar, Yi Cho, Net Badland. I mean, you name it. You can pull up the videos and help yourself, Fernanda. Thank you so much for joining us on the YouTube channel, but join us at Facebook as well. There. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Nope, just showing
off.
off.
Really on my phone as
Yes, well, this was after. So he presented.
Oh, okay.
At the very end, he was like, "Well, let's all share cake." So basically, what Paul did is he just started cutting up the cake, and people were grabbing it in little pieces. So yep. If you look over here, let me see my little cursor here. There's Nisha. Not the not the greatest photo, but yeah. So Paul just started cutting up cake and just started serving it, and basically, my dumbass eating cake. I was like, so yeah, there's the birthday cake, but he cut it himself. He stayed afterwards and was just talking to people and cutting up cake and all this other great stuff.
And there's Patty right there in the background behind the traveling TARDIS.
Yes, he's talking to you.
He's talking to me, and he was just giving me notes because I appreciate what he tells me afterwards, and he's just like, good job. And it's just like, when Paul came up, I said, it's not just going to be a panel where we have him up here ask questions. I want to make it an experience, and my God, it became an experience.
Yeah.
An Old Testament. Thank you to Fan Expo and Paul McGann and everybody who was there, and Melanie for getting all the pictures, because some of these I couldn't even get because I'm on stage.
You're on stage, yeah.
Can't take a picture of myself. So.
Yeah, and he was eating in between. But he was
pre-COVID, folks. Pre-COVID, we couldn't do this today. We had no plates.
But yeah, I know one of these is him doing the speech, so I don't think I can play it through here. I'm not sure what the audio would be like, but anyway, yeah.
There was it's on the Traveling TARDIS. I know I got to find it. I'll probably repost it later, but there is a video of there's a video of Paul McGann doing the speech, and somebody sent it to me, so I uploaded it to Traveling TARDIS there.
There you go.
Woo! Good morning, folks. Yeah, there's the sun. Now the sun is now just hitting me, so I don't even need the studio light.
Unless you're Dave, who lives so far north, the sun hasn't even touched him yet.
I know. Yeah. I'm sorry, you two, for getting up so early. Not my choice.
Well, for him, so
it's my muse's fault. I mean, when my muse decides at 3 a.m. I have to write. So I'm literally I'm blowing on fumes today. I literally am blowing fumes. I just need to get some G Fuel. I'll be good.
Well,
this is how much I love Paul McGann.
Yeah, exactly.
Everybody loves Paul. Everybody loves Paul. He
what
is
was the earliest one. We did another one where we woke up early. It was me, you, and Mackenzie.
Mm-hmm. It was with Nick. It was Nick Briggs, I think.
It was Nick, because I remember it was morning for him. So we were up like at I think we all got up at 4, and the thing was at 5 a.m.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, because he was doing because it was 10 o'clock for him. So we were up we were up at 5.
For those of you who don't know the time difference, and it took a while. It took me a long while to get used to the time difference. Also, because I didn't realize that there you have daylight savings time too, and that can change out. So
their daylight savings time can happen a week ahead of ours.
A week ahead of ours, and it was like, what is it, 6 hours ahead, or some weird?
Technically, the good thing is that technically they're 5 hours ahead when we're on the same. If they fall back, so in this case, if it would happen to be in that one butter zone week, if I remember correctly, it would have only been 4 hours. So it would have kind of played in our favor. But if it was the spring, it would have been 6 hours.
6 hours, and we would be dead.
If it's
And it was
Melanie and
travel.
Mackenzie, we would never screw up an hour's difference on a live stream. Ever.
Not when you have people telling you, get there at 7. Okay, get there at her. No, what was it?
Do you folks, when we had to schedule the team over here, because I believe are you Mackenzie and Dave, are you on the same time zone?
I think there's still another hour between us.
That's still another hour in between. So I literally have to say Eastern Standard, whatever it is in your time zone, and you have to think they're 5 hours ahead of us. So when we recorded this live, it was 7 a.m. our time and noon his on the same day. So it was, he's wide awake, and we're just like, coffee.
Well, Dave's referring Ian's squee show, where
that's right.
Yeah,
it was just dumb luck that I just dumb luck. I turned on my Facebook and went, okay, I must have screwed up the time, because the Facebook is saying we're live at this point. Log in, and we're not in. I can't see anyone else, which was weird because I've been used to being on the director side of it and seeing everybody.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there, and he comes up and like, "There's only one of you." All right, well, let's do this. I'm sitting there on camera, live streaming, going, "Hey guys, what's up here?"
I was helping my friends. My friend's family has a restaurant, and I was over there helping them because of COVID or whatever, just packing stuff, because bless their delivery is. But yeah, I was like, I even told him like, hey, I'm gonna have to leave a little early tonight, about 8:30. That way I could be back here at 9. And it was just such a dead day that like around 8:15 we're like, or 8, just after 8, we're like, yeah, just go ahead and get going. I'm like, all right. And then I see his messages, guys, where are you? I'm like, I mean, where am I? I'm in a car. What do you want? And even Mackenzie was the same thing. What?
Yeah.
I was even late because I was running some errands and doing some other things I needed to get done at the time, and Ian still harasses me to this day. It's like, you could have been on the show with your team. I said I couldn't be on my show with my team, but the times I did, I actually tried to pull up and watch when I had a break of where I was, and I was like, at the one moment, I think he razzed me for a typo or something like that.
Yeah.
I have big fingers on a small phone. It doesn't work that way. Yeah, thank you, Fernanda. Yeah,
it was a weird random time, but hey, it was a ton of fun. And he's been up for what, 12, 13, 14 hours. I think we were in, so that was a 24-hour.
But now you see my problem because I was on his show. I was a co-host for Gallifrey Stands, and you could see the problem. Not only that, when he had to book a guest, I'm 5 hours behind. So I could easily be doing a show at like 3 or 4 in the morning.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I can't. And especially on the same day that I have to go to work, I can't do that. That's just not feasible. And I've actually done that for a couple people where I woke up really early before I had to go to work, do their episode and show. And then, by the time I get to work, I'm like,
Didn't we have one that it was like midnight, 1 a.m. your time, or something like that?
Rob Sherman
might have been.
Yeah.
I remember I was on. It was like 11 o'clock at night or something.
Yeah.
For me.
Rob was one that I think it was like 9 p.m. for us, or either 9 or 10. It was late for us, but for him it was 3 a.m. And he was like, no, that's when I, that's how he operates. And after speaking to Nick Briggs, him going, no, that's how he operates.
Yeah.
But no, that's just Rob.
And he got over COVID at that point. It was like he was just waiting to get over COVID, and then he was going to do the show. I'm just like, are you okay? No, he goes, no. This is when I do my work. I do it usually in the middle of the night. I said, your wife must kill you.
I think they all have different garden.
I made that comment because that's what I do. I do all my work late at night, so I usually am up till 3 or 4 in the morning, which is what I was doing. I was up till 3:15, and then I'm like, oh, I got a show that I got to do in a couple hours. I better get some sleep. And then I'm like, now I'm thinking, why did I even go to sleep? I should have just stayed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's a comedian who goes like when you come up. Oh, Kat Smith. Okay, she was on our last show. She was with the cosplay show. Kat Smith, Miss Nerd Styles. Thank you, Kat. I'm glad you woke up to watch this. There. This was.
I didn't get to see all of it, but that was a fun one.
It was a fun one. We had Kyla from Cost Effect Studios, Cost Effect Studios, and we had Yaya Han, which I didn't think by a long shot. I just asked her if she wanted to be on, and then I got the email back almost instantly. Now the thing was, the Tuesday night episode when we were planning to do it, she couldn't, and I said, "Well, by some chance we're doing a Wednesday night." She goes, "Yeah." I'm like, "Okay." Sent her the link, and she was on. I was just like, my goodness. And that's the scary part about doing things with an interview, especially with Paul and Sylvester and all those guys. Is just like when we do the live feed, my worry is always just like it will end up like Katie and Tim, where we're fighting the tech stuff, and we've got the different time zones, and will they be showing up there? So when I got the email this morning, because I always get a confirmation, I always send an email out to the guest who's going to be on and say, I'm just confirming the day before, is this the case? And he hadn't confirmed yet. I woke up this morning and he confirmed. I'm like, shh. So because your heart's pounding like, oh God, he got something going on. He got another gig, which I don't blame him. If he can find work, he can get work, but he's going on our show and he wants to come back.
I'm excited about that.
He wants to come back.
I'll be more
Let's do this every other month. I'm like, okay.
In my head, it's like, yeah, every couple months. And in my head, I was just like, inaudible, incoherent screaming was going on, and like, oh, that's nice. In reality, it's Kermit going.
It is Kermit going.
Like, oh, that's nice. Thank you. That would be lovely.
And you never know. This could open the door. We could have more doctors come in, and with his or her TARDIS. You never know.
Not saying anything.
Oh,
good morning, Kitty.
Say good morning.
I got Mackenzie's cat's tail earlier. We didn't get the whole cat.
Yeah, that was Lola. And I had to mute myself because she's like,
I thought I had the door closed. Apparently, these knuckleheads fought their way in. So there's 2 cats in this room. I think 2.5. I don't know if Luna's in here.
I've got 2 cats currently in where I am now, and I'm sure that there's probably.
Don't you even!
Control your cat, madam. Control your cat.
I am the cat here. When I moved in where I'm currently living, it was they're going to get a cat or they're going to get me, and they got me.
We will never see the cat again.
They never see Melanie again.
We'll never see Melanie again.
We'll have Danny Jewel John coming in.
I just think it's funny because Melanie, she's a wonderful director. She's a wonderful co-host, and she's also my, for a better term, I don't want to use this, my backup, because I copy her in all the emails just in case something should happen, or I can't catch up, or I'm busy, or something. Then Melanie can take over and pick up the slack.
I can quickly respond.
Exactly.
When you're kind of freeform kinetic, and I could be more. Yes, you
could just seen what he was saying about you when your headphones were off, hon.
Oh, okay.
But I just think it's funny. So I'm curious as to what you think when some of the emails come across and you're like,
yeah.
what just happened there? You got who? I just yeah, I got him.
Yeah, I remember you calling. He's like, I need to talk to you right now. I'm like, why do you need to call me? Call me now. Like,
okay. That was like, trust me, you want to hear this. And she goes, yeah. She goes, what? And go like, I got Paul McGann. And I don't think it even phased you in the conversation. It just like, I think it took like 3, the way you sounded, it sounded like it took like 10 seconds to process.
Yeah, it was like.
It was like normal day at the office, but it was just like, I got a promotion, kind of deal. Just like,
usually in the email, you're chasing people. And a lot of that is a testament to Christian in that he is very, Christian understands the nuances of when you email a request for an interview. 1, the email's gonna be professional. 2, it's got to have all your links to everything to back up your marketing, so that way you can say, "Look, I am actually press. I'm not just somebody who's, just doing it." I
didn't start my own show 5 minutes ago.
But you do have to know that if you're not somebody that's recognizable, you do have to walk a little bit of a tightrope of knowing how often you must email versus not every day. But enough to be on the radar without becoming annoying, because you don't want to annoy an agent, and you have to go through the proper channels. So there's Christian, to his credit, that a lot of people don't see this, is how many emails this man sends and is constantly following up on. So all the initial ones, it's always coming from Christian. If one of them responds, if then Christian doesn't respond really in a timely manner, maybe I'll jump in there and kind of help out. But more or less, this is Christian. So when he said Paul McGann, my first brain went through, because I have a, not photographic memory, eidetic, where I have to picture something and then I'll kind of remember what the hell it was. So in my brain, Outlook was going on in my head, and I'm going, I don't remember anything being reached out to Paul. What? Because usually, 4th or 5th one is usually when you start firming this stuff up. And when he said, yeah, I got Paul, I'm like, how? What? He was on the radar. How the hell did you just get Paul? Well, I went on GalaxyCon and I just, figured out I'll spend the money and just kind of chit chat with him. And he recognized me and I got him. Like, what? What?
Yeah, that's really how it works. I could say that being as an author, and not only as an author, but I go to panels and do a lot of panels for representing like Wizard World, for example, which we brought up there. And it really is one of those things where somebody will be like, oh yeah, I remember you from this and this and this, or in my case, which happens all the time, like, I don't know who you are, but I know your book cover. So it's if I show my book cover, they're like, oh, yeah, you're the one who did blah, 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 blah. Mm-hmm. So it is, yeah. And now people just call me the network girl because it seems like I know people and I can just be like, well, hook you up there. And people are like, well, how do you do that? I'm like, I don't know.
Talk to people, meet people, be a presence in that type of memory, because it could be like to what you're saying, Mackenzie. It's maybe I don't have, because I'm terrible with faces and names. Oh, do not try to connect the two to me; it will not happen. But I'm that same way. If we've been at the same con over and over again, maybe I've never stopped at your table, but I know who you are and I know the stuff on your table. So I could see where a lot of people were like, "Oh yeah, what's your book cover? Oh yeah, I know who you are. I've seen you at this con and this con and this con."
Yeah.
Stuff works.
It does. It really does. And it's such a shame that we haven't been able to do the cons properly, because I was looking at actually my book sales last night for the second book, The Rite of Avenation. I'm like, oh man, because 99% of my sales I make at Comic-Con, and I'm just looking, I'm like, oh man.
Well, during our last conversation with the cosplayers, Yaya happened to say that she had written a book, and it was her first book, and had scheduled the tour for it to support it, and she was going to do it with cons in 2020. That this was the year that she was supposed to be pushing this. So now there's printed copies of this book. Shit. So it was everybody else.
Yeah.
Like all the other authors out there right now.
Exactly. I have literally a closet full of books that I normally would take to Comic-Con, and I usually buy them pre-head, because the more books you buy, you'll get them cheaper, and that way it costs you less than versus you buying them on the spot. And yeah, I've got a box of at least 4 boxes that I can think of right off the top of my head right now of ones. And then, I get my, with my publisher, I split my royalties. So I was looking at my royalty check last night for Rite of Wands did really well, as it has always, but Rite of Avenation, it's a sleeper this year. And I know it's because of all that's been going on with the convention. So that's one of the reasons why I work on that TV pilot for Rite of Wands, because I'm like, I know I can do something.
And that's where it's like when it comes to conventions, I know a lot of people want to be very safe and they want to be very, secure, and you don't want to just start conventions right away. But I can see after a while, when it comes to people and artists and authors and vendors and other exhibitors, they're all small businesses. And when you look in the world of supply chain, they might not be, a multi-billion-dollar company that's got warehouses where they can keep their stock and go ahead and make sure that they're doing their forecasting, but they're still more invested because this is their nest egg here, people. So they're sitting on a lot of inventory. They're sitting on stuff where they're on the type, they're still doing forecasting. Granted, it's not gigantic, millions of dollars, but still forecasting. So here you're sitting here going, well, then how much do I need to buy for next year? How much do I need to move? How much can I turn around? Does anybody have stuff that's expirables? Because thankfully we live in a world when it comes to paper and at least for an artist perspective, like UV and stuff, that you don't have to worry that it's degrading, but some stuff does degrade over time. So what might look nice and clean and shiny and brand new right now might not look as good in 2-3 years if it was printed on plastic and might yellow. Who knows? Yeah. So I'm glad that we're doing more virtual cons. I'm glad that we're trying to push more stuff to the virtual world, but it's not translating right now, especially to Mackenzie's point of you look at and a lot of people are doing this. They're looking at their 2019s, because right now, 2020, this is where you start figuring out your fourth quarter, and you're looking at your taxes going, how do I move some of my
I'm lucky enough that this, that what I do at cons isn't my paycheck, but it's where I get all of this.
Yeah.
I drive 3,000 kilometers to Indianapolis for things like Gen Con, because there are publishers who can't send it north. As soon as you hit that border, like if I were to order something, shipping is usually 100% or more of whatever the product is.
Yep.
And
I just bigger companies can have an FOB in London, Ontario. Smaller companies cannot do that.
Yeah.
Smaller companies are like, what the hell is Melanie talking about?
I had to drop after 3 years a monthly column because I could no longer get those expansions until I get back to a U.S. convention. Yeah. I've been very, very lucky that things like Cubicle 7 here and Outset have been able to send me some stuff, and I will be okay. I'll still get through the year, but there's a lot of stuff that I'm like, I won't have it. It can't be shipped. Here's a game that's 8 pounds. That's not getting shipped to me. Yeah. So it's
and then with with COVID being what COVID is, there's that, crossing the border where it's not like they're letting Americans into Canada.
Yep.
Exactly.
That's not like they're letting Americans into.
Y'all can come in here, but enter at your own risk because you might not be able to get home as soon as you think you will.
Yeah.
Well, it's not only that; it's state to state. I mean, some places still have to quarantine from state to state. Nothing that we heard of. And Kenneth, I totally agree. The Eighth Doctor should have a series there. Since CC and Jodie Whittaker are so slow. Well, I meant they're slow because of they're slow because of the pandemic. I get it. I always thought that would be an interesting episode because they started off where they had all the doctors doing a charity together, all of them. They had like a Zoom time frame where they recorded each other, they recorded themselves, and they had, I forgot which charity it was for. I think it was for the NHS.
Which one? What were we talking about?
All the doctors had a video together, all of them. Jodie, even Joanne Martin was in it. It was just them one at a time coming up there. Tom Baker, Peter Davison, Colin.
It was probably NHS.
It was, yeah. It was. I think it was for the NHS. And I said, "Do you want to be cool if, for some reason, Jodie was locked in her TARDIS, so they actually had to do an entire episode off of StreamYard Zoom? They had to do some kind of format like this." Just to be completely different, just to see how an episode would work just off the Zoom, where they had to help each other, but they were stuck.
Yeah. Well, I know they did that little. She did as the 13th Doctor, that little snippet there. She was hiding from the Centaurans, and she was in a closet. So that I thought was just perfect because how many times has the Doctor hid in every freaking incarnation, whether it's on even on like Big Finish or even books where the Doctor's running and then they have to hide somewhere. So it was very plausible for her to be hiding in a cupboard. And having this video, in reality you're like, Jodie had the costume, she probably just jumped in her own closet and filmed something, but it was perfect, it was brilliant. So you could definitely do something like that.
Yeah, or even better, like let's say there's one scene where we're watching Mackenzie. Let's just say I'm the Doctor, and the three of you are my companion. All of a sudden, you see Mackenzie, and all of a sudden, you see somebody grab her face and pull her off, and all of a sudden, you just see her scream. That's it. And then, exactly. What kind of?
I knew Dave would improv that like
great minds think alike there.
Yep.
That was brilliant. So we interviewed Paul McGann. That's all I got.
That's the party. We're
still waking up on that one. So
one of his a random thing. So I've always got my Doctor Who games behind me, and behind all of these games is more games. Anyone know why I would put this one up?
Tabletop Paul McGann. Is he on the cover?
This is based on a book from the late 90s. And Paul did the audiobooks of it.
Oh, wow.
When I was starting reviewing this is a third party from the Cypher system. That's a great system. When I started doing this, I had to leave at, again, 5 a.m. for I think it was a Quidditch tournament some trip somewhere for something. And yeah, I'm like, okay, well, I'm leaving. I can't actually start reading because I'm going to be driving for the next 12 hours. Audiobook. So I've had Paul in my ear, that whole trip. I've had Paul in my ear the last week since we found out about this. Because actually, I was already listening. I mean, I told Kristen this. I was already listening, just out of dumb luck, to the Eighth Doctor stuff, but it was all the older stuff that's on Spotify. And then as soon as I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to go grab some of the new stuff. So I'm working my way through the Time War right now, and it's brilliant.
There is a movie that Paul McGann did, and he actually did with James Corden. I don't know if I want to watch it. It just looks really funny. I'm just like, I don't know if I want to tell people. Does anybody, if you know the title of the movie, I don't know if I can say it on here, but you know what movie I'm talking about, right, Dave?
No.
It's a horror movie. It stars James Corden, and it has Paul McGann as a priest. And I actually was going to run the trailer at the Traveling. I was going to run the trailer and say this movie exists. But I was just like, I don't know how people are going to take it. But the movie's called Lesbian Vampire Killers.
Ooh, I have heard of it. I don't know anything more, but I recognize.
Yeah, I've seen the trailer. Yeah, I think it's one of those. If you've seen the trailer, you've seen the movie.
Yeah, I don't even think I've seen the trailer. I think I have enough random weirdo friends that
I just want to see it too because Paul was in it. That was the whole reason.
I just see it as vampire killers.
They probably took the first part out. I guess that maybe.
No, the IMDb says vampire killers.
No, if you see the trailer, it's got the L word. I don't know.
Oh no! It is on the it's on the cover. You know what? It probably was. It was probably produced over there as the original title is Lesbian Vampire Killers, and then the IMDb one is Vampire Killers 2009. So it could have been one where they either switched it for the U.S. audience or decided after the fact to. Yeah, I think they probably switched it over for our audience because
it sounds like a less disappointing horror movie than the last Doctor horror movie I watched.
And that's the thing is I'm looking at it when I see vampire killers, and if this had any type of production value to it, because horror doesn't typically do that. I don't see why you would put lesbian vampire killers on the top of the billing, because usually when you have those kind of three and it's very, very niche, that's very low budget horror. Like crazy. Like there's a lot of horror that has a lot of.
If you've seen the trailer, I think it's meant to be kind of like from Dusk Till Dawn. That's not a spoof, but I mean it's like an homage to some of those movies, like Machete. All those, just little like things that kind of take homage to those kind of B-rated gory movies, and that movie does not. It doesn't. The original title even sounds more even just. Further down the alphabet. Well, I mean, back then it was a different story. Today it would not work. So,
that was a 2009. There's a lot of people in it. Sorry, I'm looking at this going, okay, well, yeah. Man got paid.
What are your thoughts on the Jodie Bakers doing a Virgin Mary story arc? 3 wise companions, the Holy Ghost Monument, Archangels, King James. Absent father. That's very odd. Okay. Kenneth, if that's what you believe, yeah, go with it. That's just a very, very. It's one of those that I see where you're going with that. I doubt nobody went with it. I mean, somebody put that together. That's really just bizarre. But okay.
I just moved over to Paul's IMDb page because now I'm just there. Ha 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 ha.
I mean, I
104 credits.
Kenneth, I believe you. I just never even thought about it. Maybe it's something to look into. That's an interesting take. If that was proposed, that's just really odd. But hey, I mean, you know what? Nothing phases me these days.
I just want to remind everybody: the end is the beginning. That's not even on Big Finish's website.
And he leaked it to us. We're the first ones to say it. It's ours.
I don't want to get him in trouble either. So
he said it. I don't want to give him trouble, but he said it.
We got a title. We don't know anything else more about it, but you heard it. You heard it possibly here first.
Gotcha. Well, I think we're going to wrap up. We've been on for 2 hours. Oh my goodness.
Coffee. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, everybody. Yeah.
As far as morning go, I guess it's been pretty good.
Yeah. Well, it's like for me now, I'm doing 8 hours of conference because I'm going straight from here to the United Soul Conference, and there's a big thing going on Saturday night for I am an unhackable coach. So there's a big thing going on Saturday night with Carrie Elberbrunner with his release of Unhackable, and it's going to change the world, especially because we all got hacked during 2020. I mean, this year is just everywhere. We've been hacked, and this book is going to change the world.
So everybody, thank you for joining us. I'm just going to hold on. I'm trying to find the link.
Christian's about to go to bed. You can hear him. You can hear
I gotta be back up in an hour.
He's not.
Me. I'm just gonna get some G Fuel, turn on my ISC, and
I'll have a nap later tonight. I'll have a nap probably around 2 to 3. I'll take a quick hour to refresh to keep going for tonight.
go to the risingtidepublications.com at the Facebook page or .com and the Brian K. Morris YouTube channel. I'm trying to find the link and I'll post it later, but I'm going to be probably either taking a nap, going through a McDonald's drive-through, or going through McDonald's drive-through while taking a nap, trying to get coffee. I don't know. Listening to Big Finish, but in an hour from now, yeah, I'll be live on that show. I don't know what we're going to be talking about because Brian always is a fun time, and I love the Rising Tide and Brian K. Morris, especially Nevermind the Furthermore, because basically the show is basically promoting everybody. The Rising Tide Publications, where the name comes from, is what everybody's the Rising Tide, and as everybody, as the tide rises, so does everybody else. And that's what I love about like Geek Insider and those guys, because they all support each other. I mean, we wouldn't be doing this platform right now without Geek Insider. And sorry.
Also, if you want to advertise, Christian, you have that banner.
Yes, thank you. It's coming. It is coming. Sorry.
Got it. Found it.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, we both hit it at the same time.
But yes, if you want to advertise with us, you can email the Sage or Christian at hangingwith HANGIN with show. No G in that. Hanging. It's hanging. With show.com. You could email Sage at or Christian at, and we could tell you more about advertising becoming part of the legend. You can have your commercials put in here, as well as the other Hanging With team. You can ask somebody right there. There. Here we go. Looking at Mackenzie. Right of Wands right there.
Right of Wands and all of her books out there. We're also on Twitch, Traveling TARDIS. I don't know if you guys follow Twitch, but if you want to follow us there for another venue because you just happen to be hanging out, you can follow us on Twitch. What's that?
Mm-hmm. Nope. You're absolutely right. We're on Twitch now. We need to start putting more content on there as well. And I'm looking at starting our own little Discord page, so that way we can have our own little Discord area where you can chat with one another and with us about topics we've already had in the previously, where, you know, if you have questions about Big Finish, you want to chat with one of us or one of the panelists, you can go in there, put your questions, and we can kind of respond back a little bit back to you. There's Dave plugging.
There's me. There's no longer me.
It's no longer you. Comment.
And that particular, so the rathole.ca is all my general stuff, everything and all, but that specific one with the Doctor Who tag is all my Doctor Who stuff specifically.
Gotcha. So everybody, take care of yourselves. Please wash your damn hands.
Yes.
And just continue to become part of the legend. Sorry, I'm still waking up. I'm going to take a nap, grab some McDonald's, and then come back. Hey, don't forget.
No, go ahead. Keep going.
I'm still waking up. Don't forget this Tuesday, Phantasmagoria Live. Right after that, the Fan Expo will have virtual Halloween Horror Nights 2. And I'm proud to be part of the panel for the second time. We're just a bunch of fans who either were worked in Halloween Horror Nights, was a scare actor at Halloween Horror Nights, or just a big fan. And they're big fans of the Traveling TARDIS, surprisingly enough. Not surprisingly, but I'm just like, I didn't realize you guys are fans of the Traveling TARDIS, but it's been an icon for people who work there. So, and has taken on its own life in the pictures. Thank you so much, everybody. Subscribe, Facebook.com, The Traveling TARDIS. And we're doing the Halloween, 31 days of Halloween up until October 31st. I hope you're enjoying all the videos, all the pictures, all the stuff, and especially all the shows that we've been doing, especially for Halloween, especially the cosplay one, the monster mashup, and Phantasmagoria coming up this Tuesday. So thank you so much. We're going to end it. Thank you for coming. Thank you for playing. Thank you for staying.
Everybody wish Christian a good night.
For at least another hour.
It still is night here.
I know.
Also, I just noticed that I don't even have my name right. That's how early I didn't even notice that it still says tech here from when I was
say tech. Kitty.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Oh yeah, that's true. Dave.
Yeah, I was technical director for another show on StreamYard that I was doing all the tech stuff for. So I didn't update that.
All right, folks, get off my lawn. I got to get out of here.
Happy Thanksgiving a week late.
Whoa, what's going on there?
I'm showing Dave what Florida looks like.
Oh, there's trees.
And no snow. Okay.
I'd show you the outside,
like,
but you could see the sunlight just beaming into me. I'm getting
End
a
the show,
suntan.
Christian.
End it. We don't have to go home.
Every bit as dark as when I went outside. And
We don't have to go
still
home, but we can't stay here. I mean, we can't stay here. We're already home.